Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, and the Ohio State Buckeyes head to Champaign to face Gabe, Luke Altmyer, and the Illinois Fighting Illini. This will be a huge Big Ten ranked matchup between these two teams. The questions surrounding the Ohio State Buckeyes were predominantly on the offense, specifically in the sense of explosive plays. He'd seen a couple of shots down the field earlier in the first 4 games of the season, but could you see it consistently in a team against Minnesota where you could take advantage of a talent mismatch? And they did exactly that. On the day, 9 explosive plays. That's plays over 20 yards against Minnesota. Jeremiah Smith had a quiet day, and he had over 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Julian Sayin developing a bit more chemistry with Smith. Tate, Klare having a larger factor in that game. The offensive line continues to play at some of the best football levels we've seen that this unit operate at for the Buckeyes. For Illinois, your biggest concern heading into this game is, of course, trying to figure out a way to slow down that Ohio State offense that just went out there and proved it, that they can take the top off of a defense. Carnell Tate, if you're going to leave him one-on-one, he can make you pay like he did on Saturday night. Now, they also have a major concern with their offensive line. This has been a major weakness going back to the game against Duke, getting splattered by that team. Luke Altmyer under a ton of duress against Indiana. That game was over in the first 20 minutes because they couldn't protect Luke Altmyer. They also could not stop the Indiana defense. Now, immediately where I go to where the Buckeyes have a major advantage is that if you stack up just the talent in their receiving core comparatively to what Illinois has, the Buckeyes stack up similarly to Indiana with the advantage of they have an even better core, a better tight end. Jeremiah Smith comparatively to Elijah Surratt, Tate to Omar Cooper, and then you add Klare, who's one of the best 3-4 tight ends in college football, to that unit, plus a quarterback in Sayin who is playing with a lot of confidence. Remember, he leads college football in completion percentage through the first 5 games. Now, Illinois has a guy that has yet to turn the football over. Luke Altmyer, when he plays on time, which is the majority of the time, he's unbelievable. I mean, he gets the ball out very quickly. He's poised in the pocket, a ton of experience playing quarterback. And what helps in this one is that it will be at home, having that home environment. Early against USC, they are able to lean on the Trojans with the run game. That will be completely necessary against the Buckeyes. The issue here is this isn't USC's defense. They have playmakers, plural, at each of the 3 levels. Up front, there is the question mark around Kenyatta Jackson. As of the recording this, I don't know his availability for Saturday. He got banged up a little bit earlier in that one against Minnesota. But besides him, Caden Curry and Caden McDonald been playing so great. Sonny Styles flashed a ton. Arvell Reese has been just as good as Sonny, if not better. Both of those guys look like the best 2 linebackers in college football, forming the best linebacker duo in the country. And then behind that, Altmyer, you just have to locate number 2 before every snap. I know you've got a great playmaker that Beatty looks to be your number 1 target. He went off. Unbelievable day this past week against Purdue. He was incredible. But Caleb Downs, every snap, you have to get eyes on number 2 where he is, because he moves across the field. He can line up in an edge spot. He can line up in that typical Tampa 2 roaming the deep middle third. He can line up at playing free safety, just playing center field of that defense. He can line up anywhere, basically, except nose tackle, as what I like to say for Caleb Downs. He's a chess piece that at this point seems to be roaming with a ton of flexibility. That's going to be imperative. You cannot turn the football over against the Buckeyes if Illinois has any chance. They are major 2-touchdown underdogs at home in this one. Just like USC, they need to start fast. And frankly, that's something that the Buckeyes have struggled with this season on the offensive side of the ball. Going into Minnesota, they had not allowed points in the first quarter of the season, and they give up a field goal to start the day for Minnesota, first drive of the game, and those are the only points that the Gophers wound up scoring. Now, Illinois, they got off to that hot start against USC. They got to come out, get a field goal, get a touchdown, get up 10-7 in this game and settle into it, because this Buckeye team is so strong in the second quarter, in the third quarter, when they really start to find their rhythm as in offense. Against Minnesota, against Washington, this team really started to lean on their opponents when Julian Sayin got things established and he started to gain a bit of confidence, not just in himself, but within the specific game plan. And it kind of got sparked against Washington, really, with the touchdown to Jeremiah on that 3rd and 11, I believe it was, before the end of the first half. And they came out and scored to start the second half. I think they got up 14-3, and it just felt like that game was going to go their way. Against Minnesota, they went back-to-back. I mean, right away. They turned that into a 3-0 deficit, and then they made it 21-3 in the blink of an eye because of the ability to go after the defensive backs for Minnesota. Now, they had a guy in Coy Parrish that's one of the best safeties in the country, and he wasn't a major factor. Almost got an interception on Sayin in the red zone, a play where Julian kind of had his eyes staring down Jeremiah Smith. I believe that after the first 5 games, Ryan Day is very excited about the level of play from his redshirt freshman starting quarterback in Julian Sayin, but also he has the perfect opportunity to go in there in the meeting rooms and look at, hey, Julian, we're still leaving a lot of opportunities on the board. I know that the completion percentage was incredible and you really didn't miss that many against Minnesota or against Washington, against Texas, that you've been playing at a high level, but there's more to improve on, that we can be better than what we've shown so far. What I loved, my favorite play in that game against Minnesota is second half. He's got a linebacker right on him, just delivering a blow right to his chest, and he delivers a perfect throw over the middle of the field to Max Klare. That told you, and you saw him kind of get up a little bit shaky, limping on that one, that Julian Sayin can take a hit, deliver accurately down the field, and it's cool to see Max Klare make a play. I mean, that's what Illinois will have to defend, and without a great player in Xavier Scott, I just get this sense that they are really going to be playing catch-up throughout this game. Like, Ryan Day said it, even going into the second half with a 21-3 lead. Hey, our offense starts with running the football. Do you believe him if you're an Ohio State fan? I know that he's talked about it. The way that this team looked, it really seems like the advantage will definitely be on the perimeter, on the outside, getting the football to a guy in Jeremiah Smith that's 6'3", 225 pounds, that moves like he's 5'9" and 175 pounds because of the elusiveness you saw on a shorter pass. He took what should have been an 8-yard gain and turned it into a 31-yard gain in that one against Minnesota. It's incredible that Illinois was able to bounce back in the way that they did. I was really impressed. I took them to beat USC because then the way that Bielema coaches his team, they have an ability to be tough at home and that they can play their style of game. It just felt like it got away from them against Indiana. They had a ton of injuries there. It wasn't really a football game in the second half. That's the way that this has to go. They can't get down really by more than 10 points in this game and have to air it out. They're a team that's got to play in 2nd and 5, in 3rd and 4, because you saw the statistics. The Buckeyes on the season at this point are allowing, teams are picking up 3rd down and 4 or longer, like only 10% of the time heading into the game against Minnesota. Teams were 3 for 35 on 3rd and 4 or more, and there was only 1 3rd and 4 or more pickup. It was on the first drive of the game, and that Matt Patricia decided, all right, well, that's the most fun that they're going to have on the day. Now, if you're a Buckeye fan and you're going up against Illinois, you probably have seen a little bit of Valentine. He had a really nice performance against Purdue. I was impressed. He's the type of guy that doesn't hesitate, right? He just hits the hole. Occasionally he'll hit the back of his own guy, and you're like, where's the vision? But he stepped up in a major way against Purdue. Altmyer, he can mitigate the Buckeyes pass rush by getting the football out in 2.5 seconds. And Hank Beatty, right? He's got 3 100-yard receiving games on the season. Up front, they got to get Kreutz back. Josh Kreutz, their center, he didn't play against Purdue. He's the type of nasty player. Olin Kreutz. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I watch the those games and those teams where they were brought in that brand up front. When you watch Josh Kreutz, he reminds you a little bit of his old man, that this kid's brought up the right way. If you're a Buckeye fan, you probably even know that name because you watch a little bit of the NFL, and it's the Midwestern style of football, black and blue. Josh Kreutz is a player that's got to be in there because of Caden McDonald right there in the middle of that defense. He's been playing extremely well. Edric Houston there, 96 and 97 and 98. Those guys are great in the interior. Where you got to attack? It's curious because a year ago I would have told you go at number one. Find a way to get one-on-ones. Beatty, Igbinosun, Ohio State's defensive back. He's good for 1 or 2 penalties a game. Most penalized player in college football a season ago. That hasn't been the thing. He's only been penalized once on the season. He's been less grabby. He's been shut down. Number 7, Jermaine Matthews stepped in a major way. And then you would think that the weak link on that Buckeye defense was number 3, Sonny Styles' younger brother, Lorenzo Styles, that he would be that guy that had been picked on a little bit against Washington, against Ohio, gave up that touchdown. But he's been playing better football. It was fun to see the trickeration on the special teams play, and they toss it back to Lorenzo. He's pissed he didn't get into the end zone on the throwback from Brandon Inniss. This Buckeye team looks like they are having a ton of fun playing loose, playing free. Frankly, if Julian Sayin went out there, I know you don't want to turn the football over on the road, but what I want to see is, again, stacking good on better, continuing to improve, making those throws to the middle. Because if you truly are looking to repeat, you're going to have to face an Oregon, a Miami, who look like 2 of the other best teams in the country, and then there's a little bit of a drop-off. To beat a team like Illinois, they're going to stack it up. Bo Jackson, it's going to be hard yards in the middle. Gabe, he's going to be putting pressure on Julian Sayin, so they need to have an ability to really attack on the outside, or they have advantages. When you have one-on-one to Smith, have to take it. To Carnell, Tate, have to take it, because more often than not, I know it's called a 50-50 ball, but really with those guys, it's more like a 75-25. And in Illinois, I'd imagine that they know those matchups very well, that their biggest concern is on the perimeter of the defense and having to cover them. Now, the Buckeyes, like I said, are favored by 2 touchdowns. I really don't see a way that Illinois comes out there and is able to put up more than 2 touchdowns on Ohio State and sustain long drives. The Buckeyes don't give up the deep play because they've got an eraser in Caleb Downs. They are so athletically tough to be able to hit the edge of. Like having a run from Valentine where he breaks away from somebody. I just look at the way Texas struggled to run and break a big run against the Buckeyes, the way that they bottled up Jonah Coleman on the road at Husky Stadium. This is the type of game where they have to find a way to get an explosive play on the ground and keep it in their possession. The same brand that Michigan plays against them. 7-8 minute drives, keeping the football away from the Buckeyes and not letting them have it, because that offense, I believe, is starting to turn a little bit of a corner and say, hey, I think that we just have more talent than other teams and have better players. Why not just give them more opportunities than putting the football in the middle of the field where there's just less space, like where there's just more bodies in the middle, and it doesn't really matter as much about the talent level. It's just about that particular play, who can come in there and sort of messy and mesh it up. And that's the exact type of brand that Illinois wants to play in. I wouldn't really mind it all that much if Julian Sayin threw an interception where he's taken a one-on-one opportunity and an Illinois player just makes a great play. I mean, those guys are getting paid on that side of the ball too. But I've got the Buckeyes winning this one 31-13. Look, they're giving up 5 points a game. Illinois' offense with a major bounce back against USC. I got to be honest, their red zone offense and turning the ball over down there twice with the fumbles that almost turned into a heartbreaking loss. That's a major concern against an Ohio State defense that has not allowed a red zone touchdown. Think about that for a second. Through 5 games, they have not allowed a touchdown in the red zone. Frankly, they gave up a crazy play in Arch Manning making a beautiful throw in the game against Texas, and then a play Lorenzo Styles just kind of got beat against Ohio. Those are the only 2 touchdowns that the Buckeyes have given up on this season. Pretty wild to think about that, and they've just been so tough down there in the red zone. And what do you have to rely on? Well, typically, you're going to have to run the football. It's going to be hard yards. I just don't see Illinois being able to do it. 31-13. My last sort of thought here about Illinois is that you kind of have an opportunity right now. And to play Ohio State, I know that this type of game, you want to bring them into a phone booth, and that's exactly what you would imagine Brett Bielema does. How many shots do they take? Do they look at that Ohio State defense and say, hey, I think that our guys can go out there one-on-ones and win some of these, and we take the fight to them, and you have a Colin Dixon on a one-on-one, and he's running through the seam where the Buckeyes have been a little bit susceptible. Against Washington, couple of throws from Arch Manning. Against the game against Minnesota, the middle of that defense, you've seen some holes and teams attacking that part of the field. The issue is whether or not their offensive line can hold up. I'd try and come out throwing it consistently and getting those quick, easy completions. They got to be an extension of the run, being able to get to 2nd and 4. Otherwise, like you run on first down, you pick up 3, you're living in 3rd and 4 throughout the day, and the Buckeyes frankly don't care if it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 8. They're so tough in between in the trenches. Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden McDonald, they're unbelievable. Edric Houston, that they really don't care, and then Styles and Reese behind it. That level, those first 2 levels, the defense are so tough. So that's my thoughts on Illinois. I really appreciate you so much for watching. If you have not already, please subscribe for more Blitz with Blender content in the future. I make NFL and college videos every day. I appreciate you so much for watching. Please let me know down below in the comments whether you agree with this prediction, disagree with it, who you think comes out with the win, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. I do got to say that on this season, I am 12-5. So far against the spread overall in picking these college matchups. So we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. It certainly happened before. So I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinoza to the 20.